Hey, what's going on, peoples? Welcome back. Welcome back. You already know. I already appreciate y'all, all my truth seekers, and all my people not living under a rock. Shout out to y'all. All right. It's another video here, back with your boy Moose. Okay. And I'm on the scene here. And you know, we got to do some digging. All right. Lots of information just came out here recently about a certain turn of events that Fauci was revealing some information that he didn't want to reveal. Let's just put it that way, okay? And my man was getting grilled. All right, my man was getting cooked by Major Taylor Green. I mean, on the barbecue grill, taking this man out, and I love it. I love it because back a few years ago on YouTube, before they started deleting videos and started the exodus of all the truth videos online, a lot of people, conspiracy people, were talking about Dr. Fauci, okay, and how he had a lot more to do with the breakout of COVID than he would rather let on, and that he was leading on. Okay, so there was a lot of deception. Okay, a lot of lying around that time about to stop the spread of COVID, we got to stand 6 feet distance, and then he wasn't even practicing that himself or wearing his mask when he was fully preaching that we should be wearing these masks. So there's a lot. There's excuse me. There's a lot coming out right now that he's on trial for that is being brought into the limelight. So I just thought we can react to this video. My man getting cooked and grilled because I've been telling y'all, Young Pharaoh was telling y'all, Coach Greg Adams was telling y'all, so many doctors was telling y'all, man, that this dude is shady. This guy is shady, and we should not be taking advice from him. And the fact that he was a director of the medical for the government, he was like the lead top director of the medical. I don't know what the department is, but I it's just fleeting my mind now. But I will do some research about it. But anyway, he was the top medical person involved in the government. Okay, so when we were getting all our medical advice from and medical science, he was the lead authority on that. And he was the one basically stating that, yeah, this broke out from a lab in China and Wuhan, this, that, and the third. But come to find out, that shit was actually released purposefully. So let's just jump right in, man. Let's just go in. I'm tired of talking to y'all, man. Let's just present the video, and we'll see what some other people on Congress had to say about this man. Okay. So the truth is real, y'all. Don't let the mainstream media fool y'all. Don't let them get it twisted, okay? Because we're going to break this. Let me just get this video here. All right. I'm going to stop talking. Let's jump right in.
Mr. Fauci, you were quoted on CBS Face the Nation saying it's easy to criticize, but they're really criticizing science because I represent science. Do you represent science, Mr. Fauci?
I am a scientist who uses the scientific method to gain information.
Yes, you said you represent science. Do you represent science, Mr. Fauci? Yes
Again,
or no? Yes or no?
No, that's not a yes or no
Yes,
answer.
it's a yes or no.
I don't think it is.
Okay, well, we'll take that as a you don't know what you represent.
Oh,
But this, as director of the NIH, you did sign off on these so-called scientific experiments. And as a dog lover, I want to tell you this is disgusting and evil what you signed off on, and these experiments that happened to beagles paid for by the American taxpayer. And I want you to know Americans don't pay their taxes for animals to be tortured like this. So the type of science that you are representing, Mr. Fauci, is abhorrent and it needs to stop. Mr. Fauci, you also represent the type of science that where you confess that you made up the COVID rules, including
I didn't hear what you
6
said.
feet social distancing and masking of children.
I never said I made anything up.
You admitted that you made up. You made
I didn't
it up
say
as you went.
I made it up.
So are you saying this is fake news, Mr. Fauci?
I didn't say I made anything up.
What did you say?
I said that it is not based in science and it just appeared.
But this is science.
Here we go.
What does dogs have to do with anything that we're talking about today?
These are scientific experiments. This is what you signed off on. But you also told the
She is
American
on
people
one.
they had to distance by 6 feet. They had to wear masks.
Mhm.
But let's also talk a little bit further about the type of science that you represent. NIH scientists made $710 million in royalties from drug makers, a fact that's been hidden. Let's talk about the fact about, is it right for scientists and doctors getting paid by the American people, government taxpayer paychecks, to get patents where they're paid millions and hundreds of millions of dollars in royalty fees, especially when the NIH and these government agencies, most powerful agencies in our country, are recommending medical suggestions and advice and making up guidelines like 6 feet distancing and masking of children? Do you think that's appropriate? Do the American people deserve to be abused like that, Mr. Fauci? Because you're not doctor, you're Mr. Fauci in my few minutes.
Look, I just got to pause it there because she's cooking them and she's on her high horse. She is on her soapbox, and she feels passionate about it. Now, I don't always agree with the sentiments and the perspectives of people in government. And this woman right here, Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know, I don't know too much about her. I know that she got lambasted recently in the news a couple weeks ago when she and other congresswomen were going at it, and it's very entertaining. But this is entertaining as well, and it's just interesting to see how the perspective is shifted. Right, he was the chief medical advisor to the president during that time, Fauci, I mean, and now we're not even acknowledging the advice that he'd given to us, and now everything's been completely reversed, and he's on trial for the advice he was giving us, and essentially for lying to the American people. And just like the other medical advisors in other countries are lying, based off the direction from who? The World Health Organization, excuse me. So this is just very interesting. Let's continue.
No, I don't need your answer. I want to talk about this right here.
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Fauci, I
objection.
reclaim my
Mr.
time.
Objection.
I reclaim my time. I reclaim my time, Mr. Raskin.
Gentlelady will
Point of order.
suspend.
Mr.
Point
Chairman,
of order.
just in terms of the rules of decorum, are we allowed to deny that a doctor is a doctor just because we don't want him to be a doctor?
Yes, because in my time, that man does not deserve to have a license. As a matter of fact, it should be revoked and he belongs in
Gentlelady will
prison.
suspend. The gentlelady should recognize the doctor as a doctor.
Thank you.
Can
Mr.
I-
Chairman,
can I-
is this what we have become? Is this what we have devolved into? No decorum.
You know what? We can do that hearing about the poor men that were injected with syphilis because I support you in that. That's horrific. And this government that
I
does
would
things
urge
like that to
Miss-
Americans doesn't have decorum to the American
Mr.
people.
Chairman,
Gentleman is out of
point of
order.
regular order, please.
The gentleman is out of order.
Decorum.
Recognize the point of order. Go ahead with your point of order.
You got it.
No, I mean, I was going to say what Representative Raskin said. That's completely unacceptable to be able to deny Dr. Fauci, who's here, a respected member of the medical community, his title. And that's actually a personal attack on his character.
And I have instructed her.
He's not respected.
And I've instructed her to address him as a doctor.
I'm not
Gentlelady shall
addressing him as
continue.
doctor. Let's talk about
I would-
let's talk
Mr.
about
Chairman,
this.
I
I'm
would move
reclaiming
that the
my
woman-
time. I'm reclaiming my time.
Words get taken
I'm
down then.
reclaiming my time.
Second that.
Point of order.
Suspend.
All right.
A member can only move to have words. I'm sorry. The issues we are debating.
Okay, I'm just pausing this just because you see, this is why nothing gets done in this country. This is why things take forever and move at a snail's pace, because all this back and forth just between them just to determine if this guy deserves to be called a doctor or not. Okay. In my opinion, his any ranking, any kind of certification, any kind of accreditation that was given to this man, it should be under consideration to be stripped. If they can strip Reggie Bush of his Heisman because of infractions of when he was receiving some kind of monetary funds or some kind of benefits outside of the NCAA system. Okay, but he can get it back. Why can't we reclaim his accreditation? If it's all found to be clear and that he wasn't providing us incorrect information during that time, and he wasn't misleading the American people to essentially their doom with the advice given, then we could just give it back. But we should be able to strip him of that accreditation for the time being. I'm completely on the side of Marjorie Taylor Greene. But in that environment, in that space, they want to recognize him as a doctor for the time being. Go ahead. But she shouldn't have to, if that's what her belief is. But that's me. And just continuing forward. And another thing too is with all this parading of Fauci being on trial for the COVID vaccination or being on trial for COVID and during the restrictions provided during the COVID time, it's just this guy is a scapegoat. This is what they do with all these government people, all these people in positions and power and politicians. They just parade them around in front of us like something's gonna happen, and then there'll never even be a slap on the wrist. They won't even get home confinement. They won't even be confined at the home or house arrest or anything like that. It's just, no, we're going to parade them, see what happened here, and then bring them out and continue to do what we've been doing before. So it's so contradictory. But let's continue.
Any important ones that members feel deeply about. While vigorous disagreement is part of the legislative process, as I said at the beginning, members are reminded that we must adhere to established standards of decorum in debate. This is a reminder that it is a violation of House rules and the rules of this committee to engage in personalities regarding other members or to question the motives of a colleague. Remarks of that type are not permitted by the rules and are not in keeping with the best traditions of our committee. The chair will enforce these rules of decorum at all times and urges all members to be mindful of their remarks. Does the gentleman from California have anything further?
We should take her words down.
Yeah, I offered that her words be taken down, Mr. Chair.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a point of order.
Mr.
Because
Griffin
they
is
accused us
Mr.
of
Griffin is
worshiping President Trump.
Gentlelady will suspend. Mr. Griffin, you have a point of order.
Mr. Chairman, while it may not be polite, I believe the rule only applies to members of this body, the Senate, and the President of the United States. I do not believe that it applies. The rule on taking down words does not apply to a witness. Again, I'm not condoning the words. I'm just relating or asking whether or not it applies to individuals who are just happen to be here in front of us.
I agree. The chair overrules the point of order by the gentleman from Maryland, but ask that members please afford all other members the respect they're entitled, refrain from using rhetoric that could be construed as an attack on the motives or character of another member or the witness. You may proceed.
Thank you. This was a time in history where you got to throw out the first pitch at the Washington Nationals baseball game while Americans were forced to stay home and watch such events that they love from at home alone on their televisions. And what a hypocrisy this picture shows. Here you are without your mask, with empty seats everywhere. Remember the cardboard cutout fans? That was one of the most insulting things to Americans, having to watch the games from home where you got to go and enjoy the game and sit right next to people, not following the 6 feet of distancing, not wearing your mask, and everyone else was forced to stay home and stop enjoying life. And your science here, your science is displayed perfectly in this picture where children in school were put in plastic bubbles because of your science, your repulsive, evil science. And let's go back to your very own email. You said earlier you don't use email. Oh, you do. Right here. This is your own email where you said the typical mask you buy in the drugstore is not really effective in keeping out virus. I do not recommend that you wear a mask. This is your email. This is your own words. But yet children all over America were forced to wear masks. Healthy children forced to wear masks, muzzled in their schools. And then they were forced to learn from home because of your so-called science and your medical suggestions, while you and all your cronies get paid from Big Pharma. You know that what this committee should be doing? We should be recommending you to be prosecuted. We should be writing a criminal referral because you should be prosecuted for crimes against humanity. You belong in prison, Dr. Fauci.
Mr. Chairman, I have a
Wow. All right. Well, damn. She cooked, and she cooked hard. Okay. She was grilling. She was grilling, my man. And I just think, you know, all the points that I made throughout the video is coming home to roost, or so to speak, you know. They got this man on trial. They're still undergoing it. So we're going to see what's going to come out of it. But I just think it's so interesting. We've done a complete 360 as far as what was being told to people 3-4 years ago during the pandemic, as far as, oh, no, we're going to this vaccine. We're going to get people vaccinated, take the mRNA, you know, take these vaccines that they barely had enough time to do real testing on. And now you're seeing Johnson & Johnson, a huge lawsuit against them filed by some of the American people. Okay. So all this stuff that's starting to come out from COVID and all these and all these placements and safeguards that they put in place, it's starting to have real adverse effects and being thrown right back in their faces. So we live in a very, very interesting time right now. What I want to do is play a couple quips and a couple quotes from what Fauci has said previously, and now how he's done that complete 360 reversal on everything. So let me just get the clip here. Play you some of that. We'll see what that man was saying back then. All right. Back then, he was changing up his words. Now he's flipping all on his verbs. You see? We could do that too. We could rhyme here too.
Pauses things. And that's really the reason and the dealing with clearly an emerging infectious disease that has now reached outbreak proportions and likely pandemic proportions. If you look at, by multiple definitions of what a pandemic is, the fact is this is multiple sustained transmissions of a highly infectious agent in multiple regions of the globe.
The fatality rate is, of course, controversial because WHO just announced that they think it's 3.4%. You have been, I think, quoted in New England Journal of Medicine a few days ago. It's probably less than 1%.
No.
Is that where do you think it's going to end up? Because we don't know the denominator.
But right? You said it, sir.
Okay. So I think I've seen enough. I remember reporting on this back in the day when all this stuff happened, that, we can't really take all this guy's information. We have to take it with a grain of salt because we just don't know. This is such a new development as far as this, the pandemic and the coronavirus, that anything that they're saying, they don't really have 100% backing on as far as scientifically. So why would you take the first trial of a vaccine where you don't know what the side effects are going to be? That was my whole thought the entire time. Maybe let the second trials, third trials come out before. But they were in such a rush to get this out to the people. People were so eager to take it. People didn't care. And that was the issue. People didn't do enough research or put enough time in to say, hey, are these really safe? Are these really tested? Like, they didn't put enough time in. And that kind of leads us where we are now, man. Starting to lose hope for the people, man. But, every day is a new day. sun comes up, we continue our lives, we do what we can. So I'm hoping that maybe the American people will start coming around. Some people are trying to come around on Trump. I'm not a Trump fan. I'm not a Biden fan. I think both of them are two heads of the same snake. But Trump, at least things were going a little bit better when he was in office as far as the economy. And, you know, he's somebody that can function. At least he can remember his name, you know? Anyway, that's it for me, y'all. I'll catch you guys in the next video. You already know, man, the truth hurts, but somebody's got to expose it. Peace, y'all. I'll catch you in the next one.